We're going to focus on anxiety today. And, things are crazy. They'll always be crazy. It's just the way the world is, just a matter of what kind of crazy. So nervousness and anxiety go hand in hand. And some people tend towards depression when things get rough. Some people tend towards anxiety. I myself go towards the anxious route. So this is, it felt right to me to put nervousness and anxiety together. And then next week we'll work on depression. So we'll start with nervousness first, and I want to give you first the metaphysical thoughts, that create nervousness. And they're very similar, you'll see. Nervousness itself comes from fear, anxiety, struggle, rushing, not trusting the process of life. And then anxiety is not trusting the flow and process of life. So they go hand in hand. And then the mantra or the affirmations are very similar as well. And I think it'll go well together to work with these affirmations. We'll just start off seated. And I think our structure today we'll have some movement in the beginning, and then we'll be holding some postures in the last portion. So once you find a seat, maybe move the shoulders around, especially if your shoulders are going forward a lot through the week like mine are. You want to just start to wake up the back of the shoulders and the back and just begin to roll them a little bit. And then when you feel like they're just back enough, or you can let them get a little heavier and settle down and find the length of the neck. And relax the face. And then check in and see if the belly's going forward. I know mine is going a little forward, so you want to start to kind of pull it in a little bit and feel like there's a backrest behind you. Feel like there's a support behind you. Maybe it's an energetic support. So it's not physically there, but it is. It's just not a seen physicality. And now let's simply watch the breath. Watch the flow of the breath. Without putting any effort in the breath, simply observe that there's an inhalation, there's an exhalation. Again, being sure that you aren't trying to breathe. You're just watching the body's natural process of breathing. And as you're watching the natural process, watching the inhalation, watching the exhalation, you begin to trust that next exhalation simply occurs and the next inhalation simply occurs. And then let's come into that feeling of trusting this process. Trusting this process of the body breathing. If you're really trusting this process, you'll start to notice the face begins to relax. Maybe even a little smile starts to form. We're going to be building on that feeling of trust through our practice today. So let's start to grow the breath a little bit. Now putting a little effort into it. And when we put that effort, there's the next step in the breath. It becomes even deeper, even more complete than it was before. And so we start to fill through the belly all the way up to the rib cage and then the collarbone as we inhale. And then releasing all the way down to the belly as we exhale. And now feeling, as you go through a few more cycles, the trust in this complete breath. And trusting that as you move through this complete breath, you're actually teaching the body to have an even more developed experience of breathing. So in that way you could trust yourself. About a couple more cycles. Now before we start moving the body, let's isolate the movement to the head and the neck. So we're going to stay in seated and the hands can stay to the knees or anywhere in the thighs. We're just going to be taking some chin tucks. So begin to send the chin forward. You can do that on the exhalation. And then on the inhalation, draw the chin in. Exhaling forward. Inhaling in. Let's take one more like this, and then we'll change the order of the breath and see which one feels better. So then keeping the head neutral, and then inhaling the chin forward, exhaling the chin in. About two more. And then we'll continue to just draw the chin inward. Feel the length of the spine. Look upwards, take the chin up. Lower the chin down. Take the chin up. Lower the chin down. And this time we'll take the chin up and reach the arms upwards. And hold here for 2 breaths as you look up. On the next exhalation, bring the hands down and roll forward onto the knees and the shins. And then uncross the ankles, bring the knees underneath the hips. And let's start to sway a little bit in the hips. So we're just going to keep the knees where they are, but bring weight over towards one knee and then over towards the other, and letting the hips follow that weight distribution over to the knee and over to the other. And then just checking in. Maybe the head moves a little bit with this. So as you take hips to one side, you take the head to the other and look over to the opposite foot. Now we're going to come to center for a moment and find a neutral table. So we can bring our first affirmation in. And then when we're doing that, we're going to continue that motion and any other motion that surfaces organically. And this is going to help retrain the mind by bringing in body motion and also the thought motion. So for nervousness, I am on an endless journey through eternity, and there is plenty of time. I am on an endless journey through eternity, and there is plenty of time. So now we'll start to move, taking hips to one side and head to the other. I am on an endless journey through eternity, and then switching to the other, and there is plenty of time. I am on an endless journey through eternity, and there is plenty of time. Continue like this. You can say this verbally, you can say it mentally, but let the breath work with this affirmation and the movement all together. I am on an endless journey through eternity, and there is plenty of time. Maybe changing the motion a little bit, continuing with the affirmation. I am on an endless journey through eternity, and there is plenty of time. Maybe cat-cow starts to form or anything else, and then in a few breaths we'll be meeting in child's posture. I'm on an endless journey through eternity, and there's plenty of time. And then whenever you're ready, we'll meet with the hips down to the heels and the trunk down. Releasing the head somewhere to rest. Stay with the affirmation, let it stay with you. I am on an endless journey through eternity. There's plenty of time. We're going to take a nice clearing breath, breathing in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Sinking in here for about 5 more breaths. So now let's extend the arms forward with the palms down. Of course, you can keep this affirmation in your mind as we move through, but we're going to be working with the next portion of this in the next little sequence. So first, let's extend the arms forward and keep the hips down towards the heels. Lift the head for a moment, spread the fingers, lift the forearms, so just the palms are touching the mat from the arms. And then just see if you can press the fingertips down and then walk the palms forward just a little bit more, and then you can straighten up the fingers again. So just a small adjustment to extend the arms a bit more. And then maybe you can do this again. Press the fingertips down and then bring the palms one more step forward and then gently settle the straight fingers back down. So now maybe you could feel a little bit more in the mid-back. Keeping the head lifted, arching the neck. Now we're going to see if we can keep this extension and walk the arms over to the right. If you need to readjust once you're there, take the hands all the way off the mat. And then again, maybe you press the fingers down and then walk the palms forward a step. It's easy to want to stay relaxed in a child's posture. And for the most part we are, but when we have these arms extended and the arms straight, it takes a little bit more effort. There's a little bit more sensation as a result. And now we're going to walk over to the left. So you could take big steps with the hands or crawl them over. And then once we have the palms down, again, bring the fingertips down, lift the palms, walk them forward a step. Settling them down, taking a few breaths. We're going to come back to center and then see if we could keep arms straight. Bring the forehead down to maybe the mat, or a block if you're working with one. And seeing if we can keep the forearms lifted for a moment. Settle the hips down a little bit more. 2 full breaths, feeling the rib cage expand on the inhalation and drawing on the exhalation. We're constantly watching this motion of contraction and expansion through the muscles, through the breath, through our own minds. Now we'll rise up to table posture, hands and knees. And then on the next inhale, lift the right arm upwards. On the exhale, bring the right arm down. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale, lower. Take a few more rounds of these. Inhaling one arm up, exhaling, lowering. As you're going through, start to move the wrist around. So we're going to do some work that's going to require some strength from the wrists, some contraction in the wrists. So give them some expansion here by rotating hands. And then we'll be meeting, once you finish with that left side, we'll meet in a table posture. We're going to practice some push-ups before we move through sun salutation. So just so we make sure that we have our form down. So we'll have hands down and we'll start with the supported version. You'll walk the knees back and you'll keep the heart pretty much like slightly in front of the thumbs, I think. Probably more, yep. And then we're going to be making sure the fingers are spread wide, that the wrists are underneath the shoulders. Then we'll be pulling the pelvis in a little bit. And then look forward as you exhale, bend the elbows and make sure as you're looking down, see that the elbows are in line with the wrists. And then press back up. So you can cross the feet or you can just keep the feet glued together as you go through. So then once again, exhaling, bending the elbows. The heart is really forward. If you were to go all the way down, the heart is past the hands. And then pressing back up. So let's just take one more of these, making sure elbows stay put. And then we'll rest in child's posture for a nice breath here, just to get off the wrist. Give yourself a chance to maybe move the wrist around. I found that practicing on my carpet means that I'm putting too much pressure on my wrists. So I started to put a rug that's firm in front of my mat to help me with that. I forgot to do that today. But just in case you're having any issues like that, that's a little fix. If you have hard floor, good. It's better for this. Now let's rise up to table and exhale into downward facing dog. So we'll roll over the toes, press into the toes, lift the knees, lift the hips, take them back. A little bit of motion here. So it's a great opportunity to tone in the belly and also to work with the energy there. Get circulation moving through the trunk and the vital organs by pulling the belly up into the spine. Obviously, it won't go to the spine, but that'll give us a marker here. Now we'll start to float forward. Step walker, jump the feet forward to the top of the mat, big toes together, heels apart. Inhaling, coming up halfway, lifting the head, maybe hands somewhere to the legs or they stay on the mat. Exhale, lowering. Inhale all the way up to standing, reach the arms up. Engage the thighs, the glutes, maybe even lift the toes, lift the heart, lift the head. And then we'll exhale, palms together, thumbs in towards the heart center. So let's close our eyes for a moment. I'm going to present the next portion of this affirmation for nervousness. I communicate with my heart. All is well. I communicate with my heart. All is well. I communicate with my heart. All is well. And we're going to carry this through our sun salutations today. So in the next inhalation, reach the arms upwards. Here we can say, I communicate with my heart. And then as you fold, exhale and lower all the way down. All is well. On the inhale, come up halfway. I communicate with my heart. On the exhale, hands down, feet step back, and then maybe we bring the knees down for support. And as you exhale, all is well. Lowering elbows over the wrists. Inhale, I communicate with my heart. Find your back bend. Hips down for cobra, hips up for upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. All is well. So on the inhalation, we repeat, I communicate with my heart. On the exhale, all is well. So continue in downward facing dog. We'll be here total of anywhere from 3 to 5 breaths, your choice. But we're going to carry this in silence so that we can focus on the affirmation. Inhaling, I communicate with my heart. Exhaling, all is well. When you're ready, step the feet forward. That's on the exhalation. On the inhalation, come up halfway. I communicate with my heart. Exhale, all is well. Inhale, I communicate with my heart. Exhale, all is well. Take yourself through 3 of these cycles on your own with the affirmation. Once you've completed this third round, or maybe you've gone further, we'll be meeting and standing with the palms together, thumbs to the heart center. So let's just focus again on this affirmation before we move to the next. And I realize that all is well has these vowels that we can actually hold. So in our minds we can say, I communicate with my heart. All is well. Okay, we're going to do a little balancing at this time. Let's step the feet hips distance apart first, so we make sure we have the right alignment with the feet. And then we're going to step the left foot to the back of the mat and just come into like a crescent lunge here so that the back heel is lifted, the right knee is lunging, the back leg is straight. So if you want, you can kind of relax that back leg and bend the knee and then straighten the leg. We don't have to lock the knee, but we just keep it nice and straight. And then engage the left glute and engage the right glute. Let's go through that a few times actually. So relax the legs and bend the left knee. Straighten the leg, engage the left glute, engage the right glute. Relax, bending the left knee, and again straightening left leg, engage left glute, right glute. Relax and straighten, engaging both glutes now. We're going to see if we want to move into a warrior C. And you can, of course, stay with the foot down and kind of work with it there. So what we'll do is start to just bring the trunk forward. We can keep the hands where they are. Really, I feel that keeping the hands in helps focus on balance. Taking the arms out means we're kind of spreading it out, and it's a little bit more difficult. So then once we're here, we're going to start to bring the weight to the right leg and lift the left leg up and see if you can straighten the right leg. And then we'll spread the left toes. If it's really challenging, then you can come out of it, and then you can just stay here, or you can keep coming in and out. And then we'll just explore with this about for 3 more deep breaths. And then what we'll do is we'll have the hands come down, and if you have the left foot down on the mat, you'll go ahead and lift that leg up. So we're coming into standing splits, lifting the left leg, but then we're going to actually switch right into the other side. So bring the left foot down and then bring the right leg up. And keep the right leg lifted for a couple deep breaths. Lower the right foot down. Lift the left leg up again. Nice strengthening of the glutes through this and lengthening of the back of the legs. And now we're going to come into a twist by bringing, I feel like we should go into a half moon actually. Not quite yet. Let's bring the left shin down behind the right foot. So we're actually going to come to seated. Walk the hands back, come to a seat. And then from here, let's twist to the right. So you can bring this right foot in closer and closer, or you can keep it further. But then find your variation so that you'll either hug this right leg in, holding it with the left arm, or you might take the left arm outside of the right thigh with the foot a little further, or even closer. Just depends on how flexible we are here to know which is best. Right hand is behind, fingers facing back, turning the head to the right. Couple more breaths. Turn the eyes to the right as well. And then we're going to come to center. Now we're going to come to a seated fold here. You have an option to cross the ankles, right foot in front, or to bring the foot in front of the left shin, or to come into a double pigeon by bringing this right leg over the left leg. And then position it so that you can maybe match up the shins with each other. And then from here, once you have your legs ready, we'll take the arms up. And then we're going to start the next affirmation. So while we're lifted, feeling the heart opening, maybe sending the arms out to the sides a little bit in a V formation. I love and approve of myself, and I trust the process of life. I love and approve of myself, and I trust the process of life. And this is for anxiety, soothing this anxiety. Exhaling now, lowering as you lower. I love and approve of myself, and I trust the process of life. And then we'll be folding in. So maybe you'll need some elevation for the forehead. You can use the hands, you can use blocks or blankets. But then going through, and you might split this up into an inhalation and an exhalation. Maybe inhaling, I love and approve of myself. And exhaling, and I trust the process of life. I love and approve of myself. And I trust the process of life. We'll stay here a little longer, focusing on the affirmation. Couple more breaths. Love and approve of myself. I trust the process of life. Okay, we're going to start to rise. It's almost a couple breaths. And we're going to work with the arms for a moment. Now, if you have two blocks, this is a little easier to work with. If not, then we could still do it without blocks, but I'm going to show you both. So if you have two blocks, you're going to set the two blocks right like towards the hips so that your arms, maybe even a little behind, so that you can plant the palms and then press into the palms and lift the hips. Now just the hips are going to lift for now. So if you don't have the blocks, press into the palms. You won't get much height, but you'll just see that the bottom lifts a little bit off the mat. So we're just going to do this a couple times just to feel this. What happens when we straighten the arms and we don't put effort in the belly. And now we're going to try to lift the low body as well. So we're going to press the palms down and focus on lifting the ankles up and the knees up, and then exhaling, lowering everything down. So we can take a big inhalation and then exhale, push into the palms, lift the lower body. The heart's going to come forward a little bit, and then exhale, release. So even if nothing seems to be moving, just focus on, trying to do it. And then again, if you have the blocks, you can get some height, and then you can even hover a little bit, depending on where you are. So just a couple more times. And then we're going to take a vinyasa through to the downward facing dog. So when you're ready, release. Maybe give the wrists some motion here. I'm going to try to make sure we get in some wrist stretches today and forearm stretch. Then when you're ready, come into a boat. Arms and legs lift. Just take 2 deep breaths here. And then we'll cross the ankles and we'll find our way to the top of a push-up here. So outer edges of the feet come in. Thrust the heart forward. Step the feet back after you've brought hands to the mat. And then take your vinyasa here. We'll find downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths. And then we'll step the feet forward once again, come to the top of the mat. We'll have feet hips distance apart. Come up halfway, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. And then we'll exhale, palms together, thumbs in towards the heart center. So we'll step the right foot back and come into that strong lunge with the back leg straight to start, the left knee lunging, the knees over the ankle or before, but not past. Then we'll bend the right knee and then straighten that right leg. Engage the right glute, engage the left glute. Relax the glutes, bend the knee, straighten right leg, engage right glute, left glute. Let's say a couple more of these. Bending the knee. I don't even remember how many we did on the other side, but we should be good. So bending, engaging right glute, left glute. Let's do one more. Okay, so then we're standing nice and tall. Back leg is straight. Front leg is working. Both legs are really working. And then we'll start to bring the weight forward into the left leg. You can keep the hands here just to help out with balance. And then maybe you lift this right leg and you can straighten the left leg and then spread the toes on the right foot. And again, exploring, we're doing this for about 5 breaths, maybe coming in and out of it, maybe locking your eyes on something that isn't moving to help with balance. And then when you're ready, bring the hands down around or in front of the left foot, and then lift the right leg up, coming to standing splits. On this side first, and then we'll switch. So bring the right foot down, lift the left leg up, straighten that leg, spread the toes. Stretch the left leg just a little bit more. Straightening the leg. And then exhale the left foot down. Inhale, lift the right leg once again. Spreading the right toes, that leg's lifted. One more deep breath. We're going to come to our seat and find that twist again. So when you're ready, bend the left knee, bring the right shin down behind the left foot, and then walk the hands back to come to seated behind the right foot. So set up your legs so that you can get into that twist. So again, foot is a little further, it's a little closer, see what works. And then either wrapping right arm around or taking right elbow outside of the left thigh, left hand behind, get nice and tall, and then turn the head to the right. Lower the shoulders, both shoulders, as best as you can. Pull the low belly in. Turn the eyes to the left. One more deep breath. And we'll come to center. So we'll set up the legs now so we can find that fold. So again, either crossing ankles or foot in front of shin or shin on top of shin. Using the arms to make any adjustments needed. And then we'll find our seat nice and tall. Next inhalation, lift the arms upwards. Pause here for a moment, bring the head back. Come back to this affirmation, focusing on the soothing of the nerves, the not trusting the flow and the process of life by coming into the opposite. And now saying to ourselves, I love and approve of myself, and I trust the process of life. I love and approve of myself, and I trust the process of life. And then take that affirmation down with you into a fold as you continue to focus on it. I love and approve of myself, and I trust the process of life. We'll take a couple more breaths here. Okay, we'll start to rise. We're going to work with the arms again. So if you can do a full lotus, you might want to do the same thing that we were doing in a full lotus. It will help keep the legs together. So you press down and then you lift the legs up. And if not, again, crossing the ankles and then lifting. I guess it's a good focus on lifting the knees. The ankles are going to obviously follow. And then you're really engaging the core. So going through, let's say we'll go through like 25 more seconds of just focusing on this, maybe holding it and lowering. And that's it. Good thing I have a second hand to watch. Let's go ahead and come back into that boat. We're going to take a vinyasa one more time. So let's lift the feet, the arms, take the trunk back a little bit. Take 2 deep breaths. Cross the ankles, outer feet down, press forward, palms down, feet back, lowering, inhaling back bend, exhaling downward facing dog. Let's take the head and bring the chin closer to the chest to look towards the navel. And then let's come to table posture, hands and knees. I want to thread the needle. So in the next inhalation, lift the right arm upwards. Exhale, thread right arm underneath left. Come down to right shoulder, right side of the face. And check in and see, if you'd like to lift this left arm up, you'll get into the shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, and then maybe wrap the arm around the back. Find it a little harder to retract the right shoulder when we're in this position, but it's still possible. So if you want to do that, you'd straighten the right arm and then pull the right shoulder back. Relax in. And we'll set the left palm down. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale the hand down, switching sides. Inhaling left arm up. Exhale, thread left arm through. Come down to left side of the face. And then maybe that right arm up and over. Even if it's up, you're going to really be helping. You'll say that right arm is kind of helping bring pressure into the left shoulder a little bit and start to activate there. And then if you'd like, you can straighten the left arm and then pull the left shoulder back. Right hand comes back down. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Exhale, take the hand down. We're going to come down to the back. So cross the ankles, come to a seat, and then roll all the way down. Once you're on the back, you can bring knees to chest and sway a little bit side to side. I think it's a good time to go into the final affirmation, which is the second half of affirmation for anxiety. And it's very simple. I am safe. I am safe. So let's just sway a little bit side to side, bringing that into our minds. You can even elongate it so that on that inhale, all you say internally is I. Exhaling, am safe. I am safe. Now we'll keep working with this affirmation, but let's find a bridge posture. So set the feet down. Walk those feet in towards the bottom. Take the shoulders and walk them back. And then when you're ready, inhale, pull the pelvis in and lift the hips upwards. Walk the shoulders further back towards each other. And then find a variation where you're doing something with these arms. So if you have really tight shoulders, you can press down into the elbows with the forearms lifted, fingertips skyward. If they're a little bit more open, you can interlace fingers, straighten the arms, and press them down. Another option is to hold the ankles with the hands. Keep drawing the knees towards each other, but not actually moving the thighs much at all. Take one more deep breath, and then exhale, release. So we're going to take three sets of this bridge, and in the next two, we'll focus on the affirmation. I am safe. So when you're ready, inhale, lift the hips once again. Focusing, I am safe. Releasing, coming out. Take a breath in and out before we go into the third set. Then when you're ready, rise back up. I am safe. And exhaling, lowering. Deep breath in and out. Let's come to reclining pigeon. So bring the right ankle on top of the left thigh, flexing the right foot. And then lift the left leg and hold the left leg with the hands. Now if you'd like, you can take some ankle rolls a little bit. But then eventually flex the right foot. Left leg, not necessary, but there's other things you can do with this posture. So for example, if you're able to hold the shin, the left shin, you can put some pressure on that muscle right to the left of the bone, the shin bone, and you can flex and point the left foot, flex and point the left foot. You're holding that shin, putting pressure there. And in this way, you can release some tension that's being held in that shin. And of course, you can move the hand up and down, putting pressure in different areas. Just keeping the right foot flexed and drawing this left leg inward so that you could be working on releasing tension in the left shin and lengthening the right hip. And then at some point you might release that left shin and just focus on the right hip. We'll be here about 5 more breaths. And we'll release this side. So left foot comes down, right foot comes down. Now before you go to the other side, maybe pay attention to the left leg and the right leg. And you could probably sense where you worked on each leg. And the other sides feel a little dull, the parts we haven't worked on. So now let's work on those. Left ankle on top of right thigh, lift the right leg, hold the right leg. Again, maybe hands to the back of the thigh, or maybe you're going to work with the shin. You can move the ankles, both ankles around first, loosening up through. It's feeling that as you move ankle, that works up the leg. And then keeping left foot flexed. And again, maybe putting pressure now on the right side of the shin, that long muscle, as you flex and point the right foot. And then at some point, just focusing on the left hip. We'll be here about 5 or 6 breaths. And we'll start to release. Bring both feet down. Hopefully you feel alive in all parts of the legs at this point, from the hips to the toes. Now we're going to be rising up to seated for a moment to come into one of our final postures here. So once you've found the seat, we're going to open the knees and have the feet forward. So the legs will be slightly bent. They'll kind of just be relaxed out to the sides. And then we're going to be lowering the trunk down. So releasing the heart downward and letting the head come down. So it's kind of like a bound angle posture, but much more loose in the legs here. And this way we can potentially get the trunk down a little lower. Now, a little bit more of a difficult version, really challenging for me, but might be available to you, is maybe take an arm and kind of take the elbow out so that you can take a hand with the palm up behind the thigh, like under the thigh. And maybe you can go a little further, and you might be able to do this with just one arm, or you might be able to do it with two. So you're kind of threading an arm underneath the leg. And then the feet might need to separate a little bit more in order to get there. But so it's a major internal rotation of the shoulders to get here. The full expression is pretty intense. It's like the trunk is all the way down, the feet are over the head. So, maybe that's not what we're working with here. And even without the arms, we get so much from this. You might even just relax the arms and relax the head. Let's take a couple more breaths. And then begin to rise up. So if you had the arms underneath and you were trying to work with that, just release one arm at a time. And then lift the trunk. And now extend the legs forward, finding maybe straight legs, maybe bent legs, but for sure flexed feet and feet together. Then we'll inhale, reach the arms upwards. So once we've risen, arms reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Hands somewhere to the legs or maybe the feet. And then on the inhale, what we're going to do is finish with the end of each affirmation. So each one being 3 words. So inhaling, all is well. Exhaling, I am safe. Inhaling, all is well. Exhaling, I am safe. Continuing like this. Inhaling, all is well, finding length in the spine. Exhaling, I am safe, and releasing in, letting go. Inhaling, I am safe. All is well. Inhaling, all is well. Exhaling, I am safe. A few more breaths. On the next inhale, rise. All is well. Exhale, come down to the back. I am safe. Inhale the knees into the chest. All is well. Take the arms out to a T. Exhaling, all, I am safe. Inhaling, all is well. Take the knees to one side. Coming into a twist. Turn the head to the other. Staying here and exhaling, I am safe. All is well. I am safe. All is well. I am safe. Next inhale, bring the knees to center. All is well. Exhaling, knees to the other side. I am safe. Turning the head away from knees. All is well. Exhaling, I am safe. Inhaling, all is well. I am safe. Bring the knees to center. Inhaling, all is well. Exhale, release the legs. I am safe. Bring the arms alongside the body, palms up. Inhaling, all is well. Exhaling, I am safe. Now one more, clearing the breath this time. Inhaling, all is well. Exhaling, I am safe. Continue with this, coming back to natural breath. On that natural inhalation, all is well. Natural exhalation, I am safe. Slowing the words down and eventually letting this affirmation, this mantra, fade away as you rest. Before you change anything, or before we even come back to that affirmation that has faded away, bring your attention to the heart center and begin to form the most beautiful flower you have ever seen or that you could ever imagine right in the heart center. Its petals might be small and few or large and plenty. It has a color to it and qualities to it. Form all of that in your imagination in the heart center. Watch this flower bloom in its fullest expression. And now, still holding that flower in your imagination, listen to these words that we have explored today. I am on an endless journey through eternity, and there is plenty of time. I communicate with my heart. All is well. I love and approve of myself, and I trust the process of life. I am safe. All is well. Slowly begin to deepen the breath as you sense whatever it is you sense in the heart center. Notice all of that. Bring the breath back in. And maybe even feel that breath give more vibrancy to that flower that you've formed in the imagination of the heart center. And you might come back to this flower through the day, living in that center of the heart. And for now, start to move the fingers and the toes. Maybe move the head side to side. Maybe stretch arms behind and begin to find length. And step by step, taking every step that's needed so that you can come to a seated position again. Maybe knees to chest, maybe rocking side to side, maybe rolling to a side or springing right up. And sealing our practice, bringing the palms together, watching the breath flow in and out. And seal the practice with the sound of Om, breathing in. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste.